Hey guys, welcome to the session, and I hope all of you guys are doing good. So let's get started with today's discussion. So today we are going to understand about one of the packages in Python, which is known as LangGraph. LangGraph is one of the very powerful package which LangChain team is developing, which is helping us to create some of the AI agents and advanced AI agents. So today what we will be understanding is we'll try to understand first of all how we can create the normal coding in LangGraph. I'll take one example without using LLM and one example with using LLM. And then at the end, I'll be showing you one ticket management system, which is driven through LangGraph, where we can basically create new tickets, update any existing tickets, delete if you want to delete some tickets, or maybe if I want to read something, I can read it from that particular source. The source which I am going to use will be an Excel file for today, but you can obviously change that source to any database as well. So let's start with the understanding of LangGraph first with few of the examples. So I'll be taking one example where I want to calculate the BMI of a person based on the weight and height. And then I want to categorize that further, whether it's underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. So that is the small example which we will be doing, where I will not be using any LLM, just the basic Python function, and the calculation will be going on. If in your machine LangGraph Am I audible to all of you? Can you quickly confirm that? Okay. All right. I think there was some issue with the connection. All right. So what I was saying is that I will be importing these modules, right? So if you don't have LangGraph in your machines, then you can go ahead and you can import this. So pip install LangGraph. And here you can see I imported the module as well from langgraph.graph, import state graph start and end. From typing, import type dictionary. What is the use of this? We'll discuss that. But this is what we have to import for now. Once that is done, I'll be creating one state. Now, state is what? State is basically nothing but in my entire program, I want to pass some information. As of now, what are we creating? We are creating a simple calculator which will calculate the BMI, and later on it will categorize whether you are underweight, overweight, normal, or obese. So we need to flow certain information, and that certain information will be taken care at the state level. So we have to create one class called state. Let's call this as BMI state. And here, what all information I need to pass? I need to pass the weight, which will be, let's say, in kg. The data type which it will have is a float data type. Then we have the height in meters. Again, float is my data type for the same. BMI is also a float. And finally, category, which will be an str, right? So this is the entire state which we are defining. Once the state is defined, I will be writing two functions in Python, which will be considered as the nodes, right? We'll understand what node is. Basically, in a graph, there are edges and there are nodes. So we are basically creating two nodes. One will calculate the BMI for me, and second is going to categorize based on the BMI. So let's say def calculate BMI. Here, your state will be an input, right? And your output will also be a state. Because in the state, you will have the weight, you will have the height, and that is what you are passing inside the function. And then you will be calculating the BMI, and that BMI will also get saved in the state. That's why I want the output also as a state. So I'll be picking the weight, which is coming from the state. In the state, we have defined the weight as weight kg. And same way, height. In the state, we defined the height as height meters. Once that is done, I want to calculate the BMI. That is weight divided by height square. And once this calculation is done, I will have the state where I am passing the BMI and I'm rounding out the value with 2 decimal places. So basically what are we doing is this BMI which we calculated, it is going with 2 decimal places and getting saved in the state which we defined earlier. And then I want to return the state. That is what this function is going to do. Once that is done, I will be creating another function, which I told you is another node for us, which will help me to label my BMI, right? So let's create one more node for us, label BMI, which is again state will be your input and your output will also be a state. First of all, I'll be fetching the BMI from the state, which was calculated in the previous node or previous function. And then I'll be saying if my BMI, the value which we got, is less than 18.5, then in the state category, right? In the state of category, I want to store the value as underweight. Else if your BMI is more than equal to 18.5 and your BMI is less than equal to, let's say, 25, I want my state of category to be normal weight. Else if the BMI is more than 25 and BMI is less than equal to 30, then you are overweight, else obese. Right? So this is my second function which we have created. So till this point of time, what we have done, we imported the LangChain packages. We imported the type dictionary. We imported or we created a class called BMI state where we defined 4 different variables and its data types. We created the first calculator, which I am calling it as first node, where it is calculating your BMI and then it is storing the BMI value of a state as the output of the calculation. And secondly, we are taking the same BMI value and trying to find out whether it's less than, more than, which value it is, and based on that category is coming in. So this part is basically the entire logic building. But now I want to create a graph. Right? Basically, I want to make a flow. So graph is equal to state graph. So if you remember in the very first line, we imported the state graph. So that is what we are calling now. And here I am giving the state of the graph, right? State we defined here. So I am giving this state to the graph. Basically, I am telling my graph that this information will be passed over the entire flow of your graph. Then I'll be telling that I want to add nodes, right? So now I have 2 nodes with me. One is calculate BMI. And the second node which we have is label BMI. Right? So these are the nodes of my graph. Once that is done, I want to connect these nodes as well. So here I'll be saying graph dot add edges. My edge will start from start. If you remember, we imported this start as well, start and end. So my edge will start from start. From start, what you want? From start, I want to calculate the BMI. After that, what do you want? From calculate the BMI, I want to label the BMI. From calculate the BMI to label the BMI. And then from label the BMI, I want to end my graph. Right? So this is my edges which we are declaring. Once that is done, I'll be having the workflow. is equal to whatever graph we decided above. I will compile that. Right. So that's it. If you see this workflow, you can see that this is the entire graph coming in, which we have decided that I will start my workflow. It will first calculate the BMI. After that, it will label the BMI. After that, it will end. Now let's do that. Let's execute this and let's see whether it's working fine or not. As of now, I told you that I am creating one example without LLM. So there is no LLM involved here. Later on, we will be going ahead and we'll be using one small example with LLM. Then I'll show you one example where we will be seeing the entire end-to-end ticket management system. So let's pass the initial state. In the initial state, what are we expecting? In the initial state, I am only expecting two things. One is the height and the second is the weight. Let's say the weight is 80 and the height is, let's say, 1.75. Okay. So basically in the initial state, I am passing the weight and I am passing the height. BMI is not expected because that will be calculated by your graph, and category is also not expected because that will be calculated by your graph as well. So this is the initial state which I need to pass in my workflow. So workflow dot invoke. I want to invoke this initial state. And now here you can see that output is coming in. There is some issue. Issue is that weight is coming fine. Height is of these are the input values which we have. BMI is also coming fine, 26.12, but the category is not coming in. Maybe something I missed here. Yeah. Here I missed the return part. Right after this, I need to return the state. Right, that was the miss. I have to recompile this graph and let's run it now. So here you can see that the output which we are getting is overweight. So that is a flow of a LangGraph, and you can see that it's pretty much simple. As of now, it's like simple node which I have created. I can have some nested, I can have some conditional edges and all those things as well, which I'll show you. I'll show you the code basically for the ticket management system. Let's take one more example where I'll be using the LLM and I'll be just creating a simple chatbot without memory, where I'll ask one question, it will respond. That's it, right? So that is the type of thing which we'll be doing. Again, you have to import those modules. It's already imported, but I am doing it again so that I can copy paste the code. So from LangGraph dot graph import state graph start and end. From typing import type dictionary and annotated. I want to use the OpenAI model, the LLM, right? So that I can get it from the LangChain. So LangChain is a company which developed LangChain package plus LangGraph package as well. So LangChain underscore OpenAI import chat OpenAI. And also I need some messages as well. So LangChain core dot messages import base message and the human message. So these are the few modules which I want. Also, I want to read my environment file. So from dot env import load dot env, right? Because if you see in this folder, this is the folder where we are running this entire code. So here is the environment file. And inside this environment file, I have put the API key of the OpenAI model. Right. So inside this file, you will find the API key. This is the API key which we have. Right. So that is what I need to read it in my program. So let's go back. So now I'll be loading my environment file. So load.env. Also, I'll be having the LLM, that is chat OpenAI. These are the two things which I am reading, and you can see it ran fine. After that, what I need to define the state. One more thing I will add it. Just give me a second. From LangGraph dot graph dot message import add messages. Right. So that is also I'll take it. Now I'll be creating the class chat state. State is basically which I want my LangGraph to basically move in the entire flow of my graph, right? Messages is equal to annotated list of base message and add message. So basically what I'm doing is that as and when the chat will continue, I want to keep adding this particular message list, right? It's a list which I want. Here I'll keep adding the message, right? As and when I ask any question, it will add in the message list. Then your model will respond. It will also add in the message list, right? So it will have the entire history coming in. I'm not running the while loop in this. That's why I will not show you the entire history part, but I'll show you some of the parts of that. Okay? Once that is done, now I'll be going ahead and creating my node. That is the chat node, where state is my chat state. Messages, I'll get the message. And then response, where I'll be passing this message, which I got from the state. And then I want to return. Whatever response coming in, I want to add that on my message state, right? This one. So response. So that is my node. And then I am defining my graph, right? State graph, where I have the chat state. Graph dot add node, chat node, graph dot add edge. I want to start comma chat node, and second edge will be chat node to end. Right. Once that is done, I'll be compiling this graph. And when you see the chatbot here, so here you can see that a simple chatbot coming in where it will start, LLM will invoke and generate the response, and end will happen. Let's pass the initial message or initial state. Where I'll be having a message. Human message. Content. What is the capital of Haryana? Right. So that is my initial state which we are passing. Chatbot dot invoke. Initial state. Let me run this for now. Let's see what happens. So when I'm running this, you can see that I'm getting a lot of texts, a lot of information coming in. You can see here in my messages, first I have the human message where content is what is the capital of Haryana. Some ID is coming in. Then AI message coming in. That is the capital of Haryana is Chandigarh. And again, some of the details coming in. My interest is only this part, right? Rest of the things I don't want. You can see it's like a list, right? It's a entirely is a list. And in that, this is the first element of the list. From here till here, it's the first element of the list. Or I can say 0th element of the list. Index number 0. And this is my index number 1, right? This is my index number 1. This entire is my index number 1. But in this entire also, I only want the content. So I'll be saying, I want from the message, right? Message is my dictionary. So when I pass message, you can see that I am going to get the human message and AI message. That is index number 0, index number 1. I want index number 1 now. So you can see only AI message coming in. Human message is not coming in. Now in that also, I want just content. So now here you can see that we are getting only the content. That is the capital of Haryana is Chandigarh. Okay. So this way we can create the simple chatbots, complex chatbots, simple agents, complex agents, which are doing a lot of stuffs, right? So now what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you one code. I'll not write that because it's very big code. But I'll show you that and I'll explain each of the steps, what's going in there. So this is the entire code which we have. Let's try to understand first of all what is going to happen here. This is one file called tickets.db, right? Which is an Excel file. If I open this up, you can see that there are 3 different fields out there. That is ticket ID, description, and status. If you want, you can add more fields as well, right? As of now, for demo purpose, I created the smaller Excel only. But you can add more details like who is the user, raise the ticket, to whom it should assign, and all those details. And on which date it was raised, right? All those things you can do. So this is my file, right? Let me just delete this record. Let's make this file as empty file. And let's save it and close it. Okay. So now there is no information. Now, once that is done, this is the graph which my code will also generate. So let me delete this and let's rerun the code, automatically this graph will be coming in. So we'll go through the graph. We'll try to understand what the graph is talking about. And based on that, we'll do some testing also. So first of all, let's understand the code. So here I have imported certain modules which I want. I loaded the environment file. I am loading my chat OpenAI model. Here I am giving the file path, which file I need to read. I have created one function called load DB from Excel, right? So this is basically just helping me to load the data from Excel. Save DB to Excel. If I want to save some records, then so load is basically if I want to read something, right? If I want to read something, I can run this particular function. And if I want to save something on my Excel file, then this particular function will execute. These are like basic Python functions. Here I am giving the ticket state, right? If you remember in the graph, we have a state which we have to define. So here we are defining the state of the graph. User input will be one of the values which will be coming in. Intent will be there. Ticket ID will be there also, and response will be there. So these are the 4 different variables which we want my graph should maintain over the period of time. Now here I am creating the nodes the way we created for the BMI, right? So BMI calculation was one node, label BMI was second node. So like that here also, we have the understand intent as one node. Basically, whenever user will pass an input, right? Here you can see that this is the prompt which I am giving. You are a ticket management intent detector. Whatever user is passing user input, I want you to classify that into 5 major categories. That is create, read, update, delete, or exit. Respond with only one intent word, right? So basically, I want your response to be only either read, create, update, delete, or exit. Once I get the response, if you see the next line, intent equal to, I am invoking my LLM. LLM will take this as a prompt as an input. It will generate some outcome. There can be a chance that it may give some spaces and all. So I'm just stripping that and lowering it. Maybe machine may give me the output in a capitals. Not sure. So I'm just putting it in lower. After that, whatever intent value coming in, I am checking. If the intent is not present in create, read, update, delete, or exit, that means intent is unknown. That means I'm not sure what needs to be done. So I'll be going and raising that to the user that it's unknown intent we have. After that, in the state, I am going ahead and storing the intent value. And also in the response, I am passing intent identified. What is the intent, right? Whether it's create or read or update or delete or exit or unknown. Then it will print the response. So that is the first node, which will just identifying the intent. That what are you looking for? Suppose your intent is create. Then in that case, I want to go to the create node. So here you can see that we have created the another function, another node, which is a create ticket node, where ticket state is again my input. I am creating 2 global variable, ticket counter and ticket DB. Ticket counter will increase, which will act as your ticket ID. Because if you want to create something, right? So I need to have my ticket number. So this particular code will create the ticket number for me. After that, user input, ticket counter number, and status as open. This will get saved in the Excel file. You can see I am running this save db to Excel function, which was created at the top. After that, ticket ID equal to ticket counter, which is I am passing in my state. Response also I am passing in my state, and I am printing that. So this particular node will only run when the intent is create. When the intent is read, then this will happen, right? So basically I'm going to read my entire Excel file and I will pass the details and status, everything for that ticket. If ticket is not there, it will just respond, no ticket found, right? So it is just a read operation, which I want to execute if the intent is coming out to be read. If the intent is coming out to be update, then here you can see that we have an option of updating the Excel file to resolve and all those things. As of now, I'm just taking a single scenario that I want to update my status as resolved, right? I'm not changing the ticket number or I'm not changing the description of a ticket, right? So just a simple code I have written here. And lastly, delete. I want to delete the ticket if the ticket is there. And if it is not there, then just respond that ticket not found. And then for unknown intent, it is just saying that I did not understand what you are trying to say, and it will just respond, right? So these are the different nodes we have, starting with the understanding the intent. Based on the intent, it will divert, and after that, it will be going ahead and execute. So here you can see that I am calling my graph. Ticket state is my state of the graph. These are the nodes we have: understand intent, create ticket, read ticket, update ticket, delete ticket, and unknown intent. My entry point will be understand intent, right? So once you understand the intent, then only I want to proceed further. Here is the router which I am giving. So I'm mapping create, read, update, delete, unknown, exit, right? And here you can see intent router. This is my intent router function, which I am passing here in the conditional edges. Once you understand the intent, after that, you will have the router. That means what intent you are talking about. Based on that, it routes on any of this, right? And here you can see I connected the edges, right? For all the nodes, I am connecting the edges and compiling the entire graph. This particular code will generate the graph for you and it will export that in my local machine. And here my entire chatbot will execute, right? Here I apply the while loop. So it will keep asking the questions. When I run this, the very first thing will happen is that it will generate the graph for me. And obviously it will ask, here you can see it is asking the question. First, let's go and check the graph, whether the graph is created or not. So here you can see that the graph got created on 19th, that is today, and at 4:11. Let's open this and let's see the graph, how it looks like. So here you can see that this is the entire graph which we have, where it's starting and checking the intent of the ticket. Suppose user is saying that my laptop is not working. So automatically your LLM will tell that you have to create a ticket, right? So it will divert to the create ticket node. It will generate the ticket for you and end the flow. If you are saying that show me all the tickets which are open, so in that case, again, LLM will understand that it's a read operation. So it will go to the read node, fetch out all the tickets which are open up, and then end the flow. Suppose I am saying that make this particular ticket as resolved. In that case, again, LLM will understand that the intent is update. It will go to the update node, update the Excel file, and close the graph, or I can say end the graph. If suppose I am saying that I don't want this ticket anymore, so automatically it will understand that I have to delete the ticket. It will delete the ticket from the Excel file and end the graph. And if I am asking some random question, who is the PM of India? So in that case, it is neither create nor delete nor your read or update. It's unknown intent. So it will just respond that it's not clear what you are asking for, right? So that should be the flow. Let's see. There may be some issues coming in, so we can fix that later on. So let's run it. So it is asking something. So I'll ask my laptop is not working since morning. So here you can see that the intent identified is create. My laptop is not working since morning is the ticket created. Ticket number is 1. right? And you can see that in the current database, what all entries we have. Ticket number is 1, description is my laptop is not working, and status is open, right? We can check it out in our Excel file. So let's open this up. And here you can see that we deleted all the rows from the file, and you can see that one entry coming in. Let's go ahead and let's ask one more issue. So let's say my internet is not working. Quickly fix the problem. So again, you can see that intent is create. Ticket number 2 got created, and you can see in your current database there are 2 tickets opened up. One is ticket number 1, second is ticket number 2. Let's go and check it out. Here you can see that the file is having 2 tickets. I'm not opening the file because if I'll run this, it will throw me the error permission denied. That's why I have to close the file every time. Now let's say I'm saying kindly close the ticket number 1, right? So here you can see that when I said close, so what happened is that it deleted the ticket, right? So close, it is understanding as delete. But what I was expecting is that I want to mention the status as closed, right? So that is a problem as of now. So we have to fine tune my agent, right? So that we will maybe change in the prompt and we can fix that. But here, let's say resolve the ticket number 2. So here you can see that update is what it understood and your status is resolved, right? So with the close, it deleted the record, and with the resolve, it resolved the ticket. So we have seen the delete operation, we have seen the update operation and insert create operation. Let's go for read operation. Show me all the tickets. Only one ticket is there, so it will show only one ticket. But you see the intent is there, right? And here you can see no ticket ID found in your message, right? What did I tell? That show me all the tickets. I have to mention specifically the ticket number because again, it's a very basic agent I have created, right? So I have to mention specifically that show me ticket number 2. So now here you can see still, okay, here you can see it's coming, right? So read operation, ticket number 2 is there and it is fine. Okay. Suppose let me ask, who is the PM of India? Now what it is doing, it is reading, right? It is understanding as a read, which is again a problem. Let's exit. I'll go back to my prompt. Few modification we will do, right? In the prompt here. Because intent is what very important. If you are writing close the ticket, it is understanding as delete, but I was expecting it as update, right? So intent was very important at this flow. Same way when I'm asking who is the PM of India, it is reading, it is considering it as read, right? So let's fix that in the prompt itself. If user will say close or resolve the ticket, consider it as update. If user specifically mention delete, then only delete. Okay, that is one thing. Again, we are hard coding this, but we can fine tune it further. But I just wanted to show you the behavior. Also, if any information or general knowledge question asked, just do not give any intent, right? Because once machine will not give any intent, automatically it will become as unknown. Now this is, I think, working fine. Let's go and let's check it out. First of all, let's create a ticket, right? My laptop is not working since yesterday. So create, so ticket number 3 is created. Let's go and check it out in the Excel as well quickly. So yeah, it is there. Now let's close it. Now I'll say, let's close the ticket. Close the ticket number 3. So what I'm expecting, update, you can see update is there, right? So it's resolved. Delete the ticket number 2. So now it is explicitly deleting it, right? So if you go and check it out, here you can see I'll have only one ticket, which is my laptop is closed, which we just created. Now let's ask some general knowledge question. Who is the PM of India? So here you can see that now the intent is unknown and it is saying that I did not understand that and so on. Right? So that's it. This is how the things are working fine. And we created a simple agent which is updating, creating basically all the CRUD operations, right? Happening with the natural language. I have shown you this with the help of Excel as a database, but the same thing can be done with the help of your MySQL database as well. You can connect your Python with MySQL using PyMySQL package, and you can make your database as Excel, and you can ask questions, right? And based on that, the database values will change. So you can see that with the help of LangGraph, the idea is to create very powerful agents. As of now, you can see that if you go back to your this thing, right? Graph. You can make it more powerful graph as well. As of now, your user may ask anything, right? This is a ticket management system where user may ask about the IT problem, user may ask about the HR problem, user may ask about the finance problem, right? But now I want to make it more powerful. What I can do is first of all, I will find out which department it is, right? So in this entire graph, I'll be adding one more thing above that which department problem is this? Your LLM will give me the response. Let's say it's HR. So after that, we have to go ahead and we have to access the database of HR only, right? I don't want to have a single Excel file where I'm creating all the tickets for HR, IT, finance like that. I want to make it separate databases. So we can do something like this. I'll show you with a hand diagram. Just give me a second. So we can do something like this. First of all, define the department, right? I'll ask my LLM that what department it is, right? Let's say we have HR, we have IT, and we have finance. So let's say your LLM gave HR that the problem is for HR. Now, once it is done, now I will find the intent. For every department, you will be finding the intent separately, right? Because at the single point of time, you are getting one ticket. Now, after this, based on the intent, you will be either creating the ticket, updating the ticket, deleting the ticket, reading the ticket, or unknown. Same here also, right? And same here also. What I'm saying is that when you are creating, updating, and all those things you are doing, you will be doing in, let's say, one database of HR only, right? Whatever operations you are going to do, it's happening on the HR database. Same way, what operations you are going to do here will be happening on the IT database. And same way here, whatever operation you are doing is happening on the finance database, right? So that you can segregate your tickets. If not, if you want a single database only, also you can do that. But make sure that in the database table, let's say you are storing everything in a single table. So have one extra column of department as well, right? So here, whatever department we fetched out from here, I want that entry also in the state, which will be getting inside the Excel as well. So that anyone can filter on the department and fetch their tickets, right? So that is also possible. So that depends how robust you want, how you want to segregate, whether you want to segregate or not. Based on that, you can decide. Okay. So I hope you got the idea. Now, same way you can think of how we can create a data pre-processing agent, right? Suppose I got one Excel file which consists of a lot of missing values, a lot of outliers, uh, all the data issues which we normally face. So I want an agent which can basically take the Excel file and then I'll keep asking that how many missing values are there, it will respond. Then I'll say, okay, fill the missing values with the mean, median, mode, or apply some algorithm like k nearest neighbor. So this type of exhaustive agent you can create, right? So that will make your data pre-processing autonomous. For the cost perspective also, if you are not using all the paid models, you are using the free models like Llama or your DeepSeek, then your cost will also save, right? Because at the end, there is no token cost because these are the open source models. So you can create a nice POC where with the help of POC, you can showcase to your management that this is the agent which we created and there is no cost involved and it is doing good. And then you can start working on implementing that in the client's projects, or you can demonstrate that to the projects, right? And if they like it, they will implement it because there is no cost involved, right? Because it's all free of cost models. So all those things you can think of. This is just an idea which I wanted to give you. So this is what I wanted to cover. I hope you got something new from this session. Still, we have 4 minutes. Any doubts? Let me know. I'll share this file with the support team. They will forward it to you. All right, yes. So thanks for your time and sorry for that internet issue which happened at the start of the session. Have a nice day and have a nice rest of the day. Take care, guys.